Hey guys, today's video is about how to get through basically surviving your going through it era and surviving your Job era, surviving your trials and tribulations era. So basically it's just about like, how do you continue when everything is literally against you and it just feels like I can't do it anymore.
I can't.
Because it seems like every time something, like, have you ever had those times when like something goes wrong, right? And you're just like, you know what, it's fine, I've got it, I've got a plan, I'm gonna do ABC and it's gonna be okay. And then you pivot and you go for plan B. And then you're trying plan B, and then next thing you know, plan B falls apart. And you're just like, well, what the hell is going on? Because I thought that I was being strong and courageous, and I'm just like, I'm making do with what I have, and I'm like going for plan B. Now plan B is falling apart. What the hell is going on? And then you're like, okay, fine, I'll go for plan C. Plan C also falls apart.
It's been a long fight. It's been a long fight, and I just had to have a warrior spirit, and that's all.
So that's what today's video is about. Today's video is about what the hell are you going to do when it seems like everything you're trying keeps falling apart. Like, is it time to quit? Is it time to move on? Is it time to just give up? And, you know, clearly it's not working out, so it's not meant to be. But you shouldn't give up, and this is why. The reason why you shouldn't give up is because you started for a reason, and that's number one. So I'm going to give you 3 reasons or 3 ways to carry on when it seems like it's impossible. Number 1, you have to remember your why. Your why is the reason why you started in the first place. Why did you decide to do whatever you're doing? Why did you decide to start this business? And if you can remember your why, that's your purpose, that's your driving force, and you're going to need that. Before you start anything important, I would actually venture to say that before you start anything, you should actually have a why. Because your why is going to be what keeps you going when things are really, really tough. So when you don't feel like getting out of bed, when you don't feel like going into your office or wherever you do your work, when you don't feel like talking or doing whatever it is that you do, your why is going to be what you tap into, so that you can be like, I started this business for my children, so I have to get up even though I don't want to. Or you're going to be like, I started this business for my husband, or whatever you did it for. So that's what you're going to tap into, and that's what is going to keep you going when you're just feeling like everything is a mess and a disaster and everything is so tough. Number 2, you're going to consider the alternative. You're going to consider what it would be like if you just gave up. So you're going to sit and you're going to think like, okay, fine, like everything is going wrong with this. Let's say you're doing a university course, and you're going to be like, everything is going wrong with this university course, and every assignment I hand in, it just like is falling apart. Like, I'm just not passing, and I'm just not getting the grades that I want, and what am I doing wrong? Should I drop out? If you're thinking of dropping out, right, you have to, number 1, think of your why. Why did you start the course in the first place? And number 2, consider the alternative. Like, consider quitting. Like, fully go into it, like fully immerse yourself in the idea of quitting. Think of what you will, who you will contact to quit. How do you unenroll in your course? Who will you talk to? Are you going to talk to your mom first or your dad first to tell them that you're quitting? And then where you're going to live, and what are you going to do after you quit? Are you going to get a job at Burger King? Are you going to get a job at McDonald's? Like, what's your next step? Like, fully think out the whole process of how it's going to be if you do quit, if you drop out of school and you decide you're doing something else. What are you going to do with your life once you have quit? How's that look for you? How's that going to work out for you? And then number 3, think of someone just parked next to me. Number 3, think of the end goal. So the end goal is where you are at, like the top of your mountain. So where you'll be once you've made it. Like, everything went perfect, everything went your way, everything worked out. Now, what does your life look like? What does your everyday life look like? Do you have this? Do you have that? Like, what do you have? How does your everyday look? Do you wake up, go to the gym, go to your office, like your corner office that's like all glass? What do you like? What is your end goal? What does the top of your mountain look like? And that's what you have to consider. So you have to consider these three things before you actually decide what are you going to do next. Are you going to quit or are you going to continue? And by the time you've gone through all these three things, if your why is something that's really important to you, and if you consider the alternative and you think, my life's going to be pretty messy if I decide to quit now. And if you think of number three, the end goal, and the end goal looks very enticing to you, then you're probably not going to want to quit, because then you're going to have all the reasons why you should do and why you should keep at it and why you should keep doing whatever you're doing. When you remember the reason why you started something, it keeps you, it takes you back to day one when you were excited, when you were feeling full of energy and you were feeling like you can take on the world. Because what you want to do is bottle up that feeling. That feeling that you have on day one, you want to bottle that up and you want to keep it with you throughout your whole journey, because it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be all rainbows and butterflies all the time, but nothing in life is, and everything that's worth having is going to be super hard. And so you want to bottle up that feeling, that can-do spirit, that excited feeling of like, I'm finally going to live my purpose. You want to bottle up that feeling and you want to be able to sell it back to yourself whenever you're feeling like things are really, really tough. You want to be able to go back to that day, to go back to day one and be like, this is why I started. And then you also want to consider what you don't want your life to look like. And so when you look at number two and you consider how your life would look if you weren't chasing your dreams, if you weren't doing what you're doing, if you weren't getting up every morning and doing what needs to be done, when you think of that and it's so ugly, and you're thinking, no, thank you. Like maybe you grew up poor already and you've already been through the trenches. So you're just like, no, thanks. I'm not going back to the trenches. It's like, Jocelyn, which is like, I'm not going back to the strip club, Stevie. It's just like that, where you're just like, I will not go back there. I'm not going to do it. So I actually have no choice but to keep going. So, and then number three, of course, which is the part that everybody likes, is like to dream about the end goal and to dream about, how your life looks now that you've made it, now that you've put in the hard work, now that you've done the hard things, been through the trenches and survived the trenches. Now you're going to like dream about what it looks like. And that's what's also going to keep you going. And when you're dreaming about the end goal, you want to make it lavish and luxurious, but you also want to make it seem like you want to like live as if you have already achieved it. You want to feel the feelings of what it's going to feel like. Like you want to imagine that you're in your bed, in your house that you belong in. And you want to see it very clearly in the eye of your mind, because that's what also is going to keep you going, because you're just going to be like, well, I have no choice. I have to live this life now because I've already imagined my life in that bed. I've already imagined myself in that house. I've already imagined myself in that office or in that space, whatever the space that you want to be. Imagine it and feel it. And then once you've done that, your mind and your body are going to live as if like you already have, because you've given yourself no choice. You've given life no choice but to give you what you want to have. And like, you just like, you won't, at some point, you won't even be able to do number two, where you imagine the alternative. You're just going to be like, there is no alternative. This is going to be, but like at the beginning, you're definitely going to doubt yourself. Like when you like start living within your purpose at the beginning, it's going to be hard. You're going to doubt yourself. So, you want to be able to go back to these steps so that they can help you stay on track. But once you're at a place where you are fully like living your purpose, you're not even going to be able to imagine number two. You're not even going to be able to imagine not doing what you're doing, not living your dream, because it's going to seem like such a ridiculous idea. And it's going to be like, well, there's nothing else I'd rather do. And if I'm doing anything else, I wouldn't be as fulfilled as I am now. So, yeah, I hope that helps you. And I hope that it it keeps you going. Happy Monday, and have the best week ever. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Comment, subscribe, and yeah. Leave me funny comments, leave me lame comments, leave me angry comments, whatever. It keeps it gets the people going. Whatever you do, whatever you say, it's good for me and it works for me. And I'm so glad that you watched until the end. And yeah, have a wonderful week. Choose love, choose happiness, choose to be anything but ordinary. Love you. Bye.